Why did Ataturk resort to the public to raise money in the first place?
He desperately needed money. I mean, he founded modern Turkey from the ruins of World War I, and he needed capital, to build his republic. So he turned to the public. He also turned to foreign investors. He got the match king of Sweden to invest in his central bank. And as you said, a lot of people did. And as you said, the central bank last year was the most profitable joint stock company in Turkey, making about $5.6 billion. But yet, because none of these shares are traded, the Treasury gets the lion's share and the rest of the shareholders get basically nothing. Yvonne?
And we saw quite a bit of an emotional annual meeting. I mean, do the descendants of the original investors stand any chance here of getting a bigger share of the central bank's profits?
Well, the emotional scenes, you're quite right about that. Our reporter attended the General Assembly, and there were even people who were brought to tears. And one of the shareholders said that her father bought 42 shares in 1931 and deposited around 4,000 liras in that year. And she says that in today's terms, those shares are worth more than $1 million. And so she had to queue for hours to get pennies. Now, will they ever see their money back? It depends on whether the settlement can be reached between them and the government. Because again, there's no market for these shares to be traded, unlike the few other central banks that are publicly traded already.
Yeah, Switzerland, I think, and a few other countries where they are publicly traded. But let's talk about the economy in general. One big challenge, of course, in Turkey is that it still suffers from a capital shortage today, right?
That's true. I mean, I don't know if it's not as acute as it was in World War I, but they still need foreign capital. They still need capital. That's why it's one of the main vulnerabilities of the economy. That's why Turkey depends on hot money, depends on foreign inflows in its debt markets and its stock markets to actually finance its current account deficit. It's not acute, but it's ironic that it's still the same problem, more or less.